Yesterday we have discussed about the lobes of the cerebrum, and as we have discussed that it has got a frontal lobe, occipital lobe, temporal lobe, and parietal lobe. Four lobes are there, and inside if you go, you will find inside if you observe the brain by separating the two hemispheres in between. There are certain things which has been mentioned yesterday. A special area of the cerebrum, somatic sensory area means soma means body, receives impulses from the body, sensory receptors. Then primary motor area sends impulses to the skeletal muscles for the movement of muscles. Then Broca areas involved in our ability to speak. Here they have given a complete picture of what area, which part of the cerebral cortex control. The specialized area of the cerebral area involved in special senses. The gustatory area means taste, controlled by the brain. Visual area, occipital region, controlled by the visual centers. Auditory area, control the audition, voice. Olfactory area, control the smell. Interpretation area of the cerebrum, speech, language regions, language comprehension region, general interpretation area. Here is specialized area of the cerebrum. You can see in front side there is a premotor area, primary motor area, then premotor area, Broca area, motor speech means you talk while you create a movement in your tongue. Language comprehension is also take place at that area which has been shown. Olfactory area which gives you a sense of smell, and then central circle which separate the brain in front and backward. Somatic sensory area means body sensory area over here. Then gustatory taste area is here. You can see on the blue, dark blue. Speech, speech or language outlined by dashes. General common interpretation area outlined by dots. The big outer circle. Then auditory area is there. You can see. Visual area you can see at the occipital lobe. Layer of the cerebrum. Cerebrum is consists of gray matter, means all the dendrites are there. Outer layer composed mostly of the neurons, cell bodies. Cell bodies means dendrites. White matter, fiber tracks inside the gray matter. Example, corpus callosum connects hemisphere. Corpus callosum is a part of brain which connect two hemispheres, left and right. Then basal nuclei, internal island of gray matter. Diencephalon sits on top of the brain stem, enclosed by the cerebral hemisphere, made of three parts: thalamus, hypothalamus, and epithalamus. Diencephalon is the top area of brain cerebral cortex, enclosed by the cerebral hemisphere, made up of three parts. Most important part: thalamus, hypothalamus, and epithalamus. Now we'll see one by one. This is a figure. You can see here where is the diencephalon is located, and you have here hypothalamus is here. This is hypothalamus, right? This is thalamus. This is hypothalamus. This is thalamus. Above thalamus, hypothalamus lower side, and there is, and above this is a Epithalamus. Thalamus. Surround the third ventricle, relay station for sensory impulses, transfer impulses to the correct part of the cortex for localization interpretation. Hypothalamus, under the thalamus, important autonomic nervous system center, help regulate body temperature, control water balance, regulate metabolism. An important part of the limbic system, emotions. The pituitary gland is attached to the hypothalamus. Epithalamus from the roof of the third ventricle house the pineal body and endocrine gland, include the choroid plexus, forms the cerebral spinal fluid. Then we come on the brain stem attached to the spinal cord. Here, this is the brain stem. This one, part of the brain stem, midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. Midbrain mostly composed of tract and nerves, has two bulging fibers. Cerebral corundum has four rounded protrusion or pora cordigemina, reflex center for vision and hearing. Vision and hearing reflexes. Pons, bulging center, part of the brainstem, mostly composed of. बेटा इसका तख्ता टूट गया, देखो लग ना जाए. Mostly composed of the fiber tract, includes nuclei involved in the control of the breathing. So pons is responsible for breathing. Medulla oblongata, lowest part of the brainstem, emerges into the spinal cord, include important fiber, contain important control centers like heart rate control, blood pressure regulation, breathing, swallowing, and vomiting. The medulla oblongata is very important. Then we have got a regulate reticular formation, this blue area, purple area, diffuse mass of the gray matter along the brain stem, involved in motor control of the visceral organs. Reticular activating system play a role in the awakened sleep cycle and consciousness. Then from the medulla oblongata comes out a spinal nerve, a spinal cord, and this will give spinal nerves. There are 31 pair of the spinal nerves coming out of cervical nerves, thoracic nerves, and lumbar nerves. Cervical are 7, the lumbar are 12, and thoracic 12, and sacral 4. And then coxsackie is a fused last bone. You can see in this figure. Anatomy of the spinal nerve. The spinal nerves divide soon after leaving the spinal cord. Dorsal rami serve the skin and muscles of the posterior trunk, and ventral rami forms a complex of network for the anterior. Example of the nerve distribution you can see over here. The roots comes out from the cervical, then it will come under the arm, axillary nerves, then radius ulna, median nerve. In the same way, in the legs, it comes from the lumbar region, L1, L2, and it will distribute femoral nerve, the biggest nerve, and then there is other nerves. Autonomic nervous system. The involuntary branches of the nervous system consist of only motor nerves divided into two divisions, sympathetic and parasympathetic. This autonomous system is divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic. Differences between the somatic and autonomic nervous system. Neurotransmitters, somatic always use acetylcholine, and autonomic use acetylcholine, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. This is the basic fundamental difference between somatic and autonomic nervous system. Now, somatic, one motor neuron, autonomic, three ganglion and 12 ganglion. Effector organs, somatic, skeletal muscles, soma means body, and autonomic is smooth muscles and cardiac muscles and glands. Here, this chart, if you go through, you will learn more about it. Anatomy of the sympathetic division originates from the T1 and L2. Ganglia are at the sympathetic trunk near the spinal cord. Short preganglionic neurons and long postganglionic neurons transmit impulses from CNS to the effector. Norepinephrine and epinephrine are neurotransmitter to the effector organ. Sympathetic pathway, here it is given, you can go through it and see the sympathetic trunk, spinal nerves, anatomy of the parasympathetic system division originates from the S1 and S4. We have seen that the sympathetic originates from T1 through L2 and parasympathetic originate from the S1 and S2. This is the difference. Terminal ganglions are at the effector organ always use acetylcholine as a neurotransmitter. Parasympathetic. From the front and back of the brain, frontal lobe, planning, back on temporal language, occipital region is lesion, cerebellum for coordinate movement, brain stem, body basics, hippocampus memory, and emotional cortex memory, amygdala emotion, basic emotion. Brain and spinal cord, autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. Autonomic system consists of sympathetic and parasympathetic. Spinal and cranial nerve consist of motor and sensory. Sympathetic, thoracic and lumbar autonomic nerves, parasympathetic sacral, autonomic nervous and cranial nerves. The autonomic nervous system, internal environment control, smooth muscles, cardiac muscles, glands and organs. Somatic nervous system control, skeletal muscles, external environment and body senses. Autonomic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system nerves, they are giving all the innervation of nerves. It gives supplies to lungs, pancreas, gallbladder, stomach, right? Lymphatic glands, heart, lungs, face, mouth. Sensory organs, nerve supply. This is a cranial nerve. Cranial nerve comes out from the base of the brain. ब्रेन के बेस से ये नर्व निकलती हैं. ठीक है. इसमें सबसे पहले जो होती है वो होती है ऑप्टिक. क्या काम करती है ऑप्टिक? सॉरी, ऑल फैक्ट्री. ऑल फैक्ट्री सेकेंड ईयर ऑप्टिक. ऑल फैक्ट्री नर्व ये नाक के ऊपर रखी हुई होती है और ये स्मेल का सेंस देती है. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, ऑप्टिक आई को सेंस देती है, किसी चीज के एहसास देती है आई को. नंबर 3, oculomotor. All eyes muscles except those supplied by the fourth and sixth cranial nerve. सारी सप्लाई जो थर्ड से होती है. Then we have got the fourth one, trochlear. Trochlear motor superior oblique muscles. Then we have got the fifth, trigeminal, face, sinuses and teeth. Then we have got abducent. मोटर फंक्शन करती है ये. और एक्सटर्नल रेक्टस मसल्स, जो आई की मसल्स होती है, आई बॉल को मूव करती है. 7th है फेशियल, जो फेस को सप्लाई कर रही है. और 8th जो है वो है वेस्टिबुलर कॉर्नियर, जो कॉर्निया और वेस्टिबुल यानी हियरिंग में हेल्प करती है. और उसके बाद है हाइपोग्लोसियल. और हाइपोग्लोसियल जो है ये देती है फेरिंग्स को मस्कुलेचर सेंसरी पोस्टीरियर पार्ट ऑफ द टंग और टॉन्सिल्स और फेरिंग्स. और इसके बाद है वेगस नर्व, जो कि आप कहाँ देती है? ये हार्ट को. वेगस 10 जो है लंग्स और हार्ट को. हार्ट, लंग्स, ब्रोंकाई, गैस्ट्रोइंटेस्टाइनल ट्रैक्ट. फिर 11 है एसेसरी, जो गर्दन की मसल्स को देती है. 2 मसल्स हैं, एक है टेरेडोमास्टाइड, ये जो नजर आ रही है 2 मसल्स, एक ये है टेरेडोमास्टाइड, और पीछे वाली है ट्राइपेजियस. Then we talk about the protection of the brain. The brain is protected with the skull, cranial meninges, cerebral fluid, and blood-brain barrier. Cranial meninges are 3: dura mater, arachnoid mater, and pia. Composed of 2 layers: dura mater, outer layer attached to the bone, which is known as periosteum, and meningeal inner layer close to the brain. Arachnoid layer, which is spider web-like. Pia mater, delicate, hollow convergence. ये इसकी फिगर है, इसको देख लीजिएगा. Cranial meningeal spaces, potential space superior to the dura mater, we call it epidural space. Subdura mater, subdural space, potential space between the dura and arachnoid mater, and subarachnoid mater filled with the CSF contains the blood vessels supply brain. यहाँ पे सब नजर आ रहा है आपके पास, इसे गौर से देखिए. CSF, role of the CSF, cushion and insulate delicate nerve system, give buoyancy to the brain. Exchange of the gases and nutrients, waste, CSF formed in the choroid plexus in ventricle brain. Now we discuss about the male reproductive system. The male organ penis is an external organ of the male reproductive system. It has two main functions. Sexual intercourse. During erotic stimulation, the penis undergoes erection, becoming engorged with blood, full of blood. Following emission, mixing of the component of semen in the prostate, urethra, ejaculation can occur. The sperm comes out, whereby semen moves out of the urethra through the external urethral orifice. This opening of the penis, some secretions come, viscous secretion, sticky secretion, which is known as pre-ejaculation. And this is the semen which comes from the prostate. Finally, the penis undergoes remission, return to the flaccid state. Once it's erected after ejaculation, it will come on its original position. Menstruation penis also has an important urinary role, means it will throw the urine out of the body. It contains the urethra, which is a passage through which the urine and sperm comes out. Carries urine from the bladder to the external urethral orifice where it expels from the body. The structure of the penis. The penis can be anatomically divided into three parts. Root, the most proximal fixed part of the penis. It is located in the superficial perineal pouch of the pelvis and is not visible externally. The root contains three erectile tissues, two crura and bulb of the penis, and two muscles, istiocavernosus and bulbosponginosus. These two muscles are there. Then root, after that root of the penis, there is a body, the free area of the penis, located between the root and the glans, the head and the root. It is suspended from a pubic symphysis, means bone. It is composed of the three cylinder of the erectile tissue, two corpora cavernosa and the corpus sponginosum, the glans top of the penis. The most distal part of the penis, it is conical in shape and is formed by the distal expansion of the corpus sponginosum. This contains the opening of the urethra, termed the external urethral orifice. Here you can see this is a glans, this is body and this is root. If you will observe the figure and read the material, you will understand. Erectile tissue, the erectile light tissue, which gives strength to the penis, filled with the blood during sexual arousal, produce an erection. The root and the body of the penis are spanned by three masses of the erectile tissue. In the root, these tissues are known as the left and right crura and the bulb of the penis. The bulb is situated in the middle of the penile root and is transversed by urethra. The left and right crura are located laterally, attached to the ipsilateral ischial ramus and covered by the paired ischiocavernosal muscles. The erectile tissue continue into the body of the penis. The left and right crura continue anterior into the dorsal part of the penis. They form the two corpora cavernosa. They are separated by the septum of the penis, although often incompletely. The bulb forms the corpus sponginosum, which lies ventrally. The male urethra runs through the corpus sponginosum to prevent it become occluded during the erection. The corpus sponginosum is filled to a reduced pressure. Here the figure, the yellow color is a bulb on the top. It's a corpus callosum, and corpus callosum is a green one. So these muscles, named two type of muscles are there in the penis. One is corpus cavernosum and corpus sponginosum muscles. There are four muscles located in the root of the penis: bulbosponginosus, Associated with the bulb of the penis, it contracts to empty the spongious urethra of any residual semen and urine. These muscles help to throw the sperms or the urine out of that urethral space by contraction, spasm. The anterior fiber also aid in maintaining erection by increasing the pressure in the bulb of the penis. Ischio cavernosum surround the left and right crura of the penis. It contracts to force blood from the cavernosa space in the crura into the corpora cavernous. This helps maintain erection. Fascial covering. Each mass of the erectile tissue has a two fascial coverings. The most superficial layer immediately after the skin is the external fascia of the pollex, which is continued with the fascia of Scarpa, which covers the abdominal wall. A deeper stratum is the deep fascia of the penis, also known as the buccal fascia. This is a continuation of the deep perineal fascia and form a strong membranous covering which hold all three erectile tissues. Under the deep fascia is the strong fascia called the tunica albuginea, forming an individual capsules around each cavering cavernosus body and fused in the middle. The incomplete septum becomes the two corpora is composed of the tunica albuginea. Now we talk about the ligaments which hold. The root of the penis is supported by the ligaments, means जैसे आप एक बांस को शामियाने के रस्सियों से बांध देते हैं तो खड़ा रहता है, इसी तरीके से the male organ is also tied with the ligament which attach to the surrounding structure. Suspensory ligament, a condensation of the deep fascia, it connects the erectile body of the penis to the pubic symphysis bone. Then fundiform ligament, a condensation of the abdominal subcutaneous tissue. It runs down from the linea alba, surround the penis like a sling, and attached to the pubic symphysis. Skin. The skin of the penis is most heavily pigmented than that of the rest of the body. It is connected to the underlying fascia by loose connective tissues. The prepose foreskin has presentations in Hindus who do not go for circumcision. That skin, which hide the glands of the penis, is a double layer of skin and fascia located at the neck of the glands. It covers the glands to a variable extent. The prepose is connected to the surface of the glands by the frenulum, a median fold of skin on the ventral surface of the penis. The potential space between the glands and the prepose is termed the prepucial sac. Neurovascular supplies. Vascular supply, the penis received arteries supply from the three sources: dorsal arteries of the penis, deep arteries of the penis, and bulbourethral artery. These arteries are all branches of the internal pudendal artery. These vessels arise from the interior division of the internal iliac artery. So this supply of the penis is through internal iliac artery with the branches of arteries, dorsal artery, deep artery, and bulbourethral artery. Venous blood is drained from the penis by paired veins The cavernous space are drained by the deep dorsal vein of the penis. This empties into the prostate venous plexus. The superficial dorsal vein drains the superficial structure of the penis, such as skin and cutaneous tissues. This is the figure. You can see internal pudendal artery, bulbourethral artery, deep artery, and dorsal arteries. Right? This figure is here. Innervations of the nerve. The penis is supplied by the H2 and H4 spinal cord segment and spinal ganglia. Sensory and sympathetic innervation to the skin and glans penis is supplied by the dorsal nerve of the penis, a branch of the pudendal nerve. Parasympathetic innervation is carried by the cavernous nerve from the periprostatic nerve plexus and is responsible for vascular changes which cause erection. Clinical relevance, defect of the penis. Erectile dysfunction means there is no erection, there is no erection means stretch. Erectile dysfunction is inability to maintain an erection. This is a very common problem in male, even at the time of marriage. This defect comes out first time, and it's very difficult to maintain that relation of wife and husband. It is a common condition which may result from a number of causes, most commonly of a vascular etiology. Maybe the vessels are not properly, such as the hypertension, hypercholesterolemia, if the cholesterols are very high. People who are smoking or diabetic, they have this problem, erectile problem. Psychological causes include anxiety and depression, anxiety of the at the marriage night for, for boy, he is too much excited. That also causes erectile dysfunction. Treatment is based on etiology. Treatment is based on what is the cause. You have to find out the cause. Cause I have mentioned you, common cause is vascular etiology, means there is defect in the vessels, such as hypertension, cholesterol, smoking, and diabetes. Most common medication used PDES inhibitors, which inactivate the enzyme phosphodiesterase 5. There is a drug which is available, PDE5, which inactivate the enzyme phosphodiesterase 5 at the corpora cavernosa level, relaxing the smooth muscle fibers of the corpora and the vessel. In this way, an improved arterial flow is achieved. Our purpose is to increase the blood flow. So for that, we have to suppress the enzyme, which is known as phosphodiesterase 5. Present, there is another disease, is a serious condition where erection persists beyond or without sexual stimulation. Means there is, the partner is not there, the female is not there, and there is an erection. Means he is all alone and there is an erection. And it will remain for hours and hours. So what to do? It is almost always painful and result from the blood becoming trapped in the erectile body with no arterial flow. So it's very painful. We call it trapezium. Trapezium that persists for more than 4 hours is a medical emergency. You have to take the patient to the hospital and they will manage it. If left untreated, it may lead to corporal scarring and permanent erectile dysfunction. So we have to manage it. So this is all about the male reproductive system. Once again, I will just give a revision of this chapter. Reproductive system, male. Penis is an external organ of the male reproductive system. Main function is intercourse, means when he is a married person, he go for his wife and put this organ in her vagina, and then there is a ejaculation of the sperms. For that, the whole process we are going to discuss about that, and then the sperms will reach to the uterus, and from female, from the ovum comes out, and sperms diffuse, and then they form the medulla and trophoblast. We call it the meeting of male and female. We call it coitus or sexual intercourse. Following emission, before emission of sperms, some viscous liquid comes out from the prostate. Prostate is a gland which is present on the at the root of the penis, and through the passage, the semen start coming out from the prostate and enter into the urethra. Ejaculation can occur whereby semen moves out of the urethra through the external urethra also. So from the penis, urethra opening outside, from where we shut down the urine, the sperms also comes out. Finally, the penis undergoes an emission, returning to the flaccid state. Once ejaculation has happened in male, then the penis will not enlarge, it will become its own position. There is no enlargement of the muscles. Penis also has an important urinary role. It contains the urethra, which carries urine from the bladder to the external urethral orifice, where it is expected from the body. This penis has got a urethra. Urethra is a space in the penis through which urine comes out and sperms comes out. Urine comes out from the urinary bladder into the urethra, and from the urethra it is thrown out of the body. The structure of the penis has got three portions: root at the start, then body, then glans is at top. Root, the most proximal fixed part of the penis, is located in the superficial perineal pouch of the pelvic floor and is not visible externally. The root contains three erectile tissues, means there are three types of tissues are there. Two are the crura or bulb of the penis, and two muscles, ischiocavernosa and bulbosponginosa. Body, the free part of the penis, means from the root up to the glans, located between the root and the glans. It is suspended from the pubic symphysis. Pubic symphysis is a bone from where the penis starts. It is composed of three cylinders of the erectile tissue, two corpora cavernosa and the corpus sponginosa. Then we talk about the glans, the front portion, the outer end, round in shape. The most distal part of the penis is conical in shape and is formed by the distal expansion of the corpus spongiosum. This contains the opening of the urethra from the external urethral orifice. Here you can see this is a root, yellow, green is a body, and blue is a glans. So remember it. And this is a bone, pubic bone. This is a pubic bone, right? We call it pubic bone. And here, from the inside, there is a prostate gland located over here. Erectile tissues. The erectile tissues fill with the blood during sexual arousal. When there is an arousal of the sex stimulation, then blood is with blood during sexual arousal. All the tissues are filled with the blood, producing an erection. The root and body of the penis are spanned by the three masses of erectile tissue. In the root, these tissues are known as the left and right crura and the bulb of the penis. The bulb is situated in the middle of the penile root and is transferred by the urethra. The left and right crura are located laterally attached to the ipsilateral ischial ramus and covered by the paired ischial-cavernosa muscles. The erectile tissues continue into the body of the penis. The left and right crura continue anteriorly into the dorsal part of the penis. They form the two corpus cavernosa. They are separated by the septum of the penis, although often incomplete. The bulb forms the corpus spongiosum, which lies ventrally. The male urethra runs through the corpus spongiosum to prevent it becoming occluded during the erection, and the corpus spongiosum filled to a reduced pressure. Here are the two muscles, corpus cavernosa and corpus spongiosum. These are the muscles which made the penis, and this is a bulb. Muscles. There are four muscles located in the root of the penis. Bulbospongionosum, associated with the bulb of the penis, can contract to empty the sensory urethra of any residual semen and urine. The anterior fiber also and in maintaining erection by increasing the pressure in the bulb of the penis. Ischiocavernosa cells surround the left and right crura of the penis. It contracts to force blood from the cavernosa space into the crura into the corpora cavernosa. This helps maintain erection. Facial covering is mass of the erectile tissues and has two facial covering. The most superficial layer immediately under the skin is the external fascia of pollis, which is in continuity with the fascia of scarpa, which covers the abdominal wall. A deeper stratum is the deep fascia of the penis, also known as buccal fascia. This is a continuation of the deep perineal fascia and forms a strong membrane covering which hold all three erectile tissue together. Under the deep fascia is the strong fascia called the tunica albuginea, forming an individual capsule around each cavernous body and fused in the midline. The incomplete septum between the two corpora is composed of the tunica albuginea. Then penis has got a ligaments also which hold the penis in a proper position. The root of the penis is supported by the two ligaments which attach it to the surrounding structure. Suspensory ligament, a condensation of the deep fascia, it connects the erectile body of the penis to the pubic symphysis. Spondyloform ligament, a condensation of the abdominal subcutaneous tissue. It runs down from the linea alba surrounding the penis like a sling and attached to the pubic bone symphysis. The skin of the penis is more heavily pigmented than that of the rest of the body. It is connected to the underlying fascia by loose connective tissue. The prepose foreskin is double layer of the skin and fascia located at the neck of the glans. It covers the glans to a variable extent. The prepose is conducted to the surface of the glans by the frenulum, a median fold of the skin on the ventral surface of the penis. The potential space between the glans and the prepose is termed the preputial sac. The nerve supplies and blood supplies, vascular blood supply, the penis receives arterial supply from the three sources: dorsal artery of the penis, deep artery of the penis, and bulbourethral artery. These three arteries will give supply of blood. These arteries are all branches of the internal pudendal artery. These vessels arise from the anterior division of the internal iliac artery. Venous blood is drained from the penis by paired veins. The cavernosa space are drained by the deep dorsal vein of the penis. This empties into the prostatic venous fluxus. The superficial dorsal vein drains the superficial structure of the penis, such as the skin and cutaneous tissue. These are the, you can see the dorsal artery, the deep artery, internal pudendal artery, branch. These all are the bulbo-urethral artery. These all three arteries, dorsal artery, deep artery, and bulbo-urethral artery, are the branch of internal pudendal artery. Innervation of the nerve, the penis is supplied by the S2 and S4, yani sacral to sacral 4 spinal nerve, spinal cord segment, and spinal ganglia. Sensory and sympathetic innervation to the skin and glans penis is supplied by the dorsal nerve of the penis, a branch of the pudendal nerve. Parasympathetic innervation is carried by the cavernous nerve from the periprostatic nerve plexus and is responsible for the vascular changes which cause erection. Clinical relevance function defect of the penis, erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction is the inability to maintain an erection. It is a common condition which may result from a number of causes, most commonly of a vascular etiology like hypertension, hypercholesteremia, if the cholesterol is very high, smoking, and diabetes. Psychological causes include anxiety and depression. Treatment is based on etiology. Whatever the cause, you treat that cause. Most common used medication include PDE5 inhibitors, which inactivate the enzyme phosphodiesterase 5 at the corpora cavernosa level, relaxing the smooth muscle fiber of the corpora and the vessels. In this way, an improved arterial blood flow is achieved. The second problem is a spasm. Spasm is a serious condition where erectile persists beyond or without sexual stimulation. It is almost always painful and results from the blood becoming trapped in the erectile body with no arterial flow. Spasm that persists for more than 4 hours in medical emergency is, if left untreated, it may lead to the corporal scarring and permanent erectile dysfunction. This is all about for today. Then see you in next week with female reproductive organs.